Good morning, everybody. This is Sweat, and it is very early in the morning. It's almost 5 a.m. where I am on Wednesday morning, and I've been recording for quite a while now for my montage. And I'm telling you guys, if you want to make this game more frustrating than it already is, do what I've done and put a deadline on the day that you're going to stop recording for your montage, and try to get enough clips by that day. And I'm telling you, you will make this game even more stressful and annoying than it already is. But I don't want to bitch and complain too much with you guys. Y'all asked for it. I should have known better than to say in my last commentary, should I or shouldn't I include a story that I said was vulgar, and by vulgar I mean just absolutely disgusting and vile. But you guys wanted to hear it. I've got to tell you a little bit of backstory first, though. Is in the Marine Corps, you have to take urinalysis tests, piss tests at whatever random time they tell you to go do it, and it's usually after vacation. They just want to check and see if anybody is smoking weed or anything like that. So after vacations or whenever random time, they'll pull up whole entire units. I mean, everybody has to stop what they're doing. If you're off of work, you have to cover for the people at work so they can go get tested, get piss tested, and vice versa. Once everybody's off of work or whatever, then they can go get piss tested. And basically, all you do is you wait in line for hours and hours, because again, it's the whole unit, it's pretty much the whole base, and to pee in a cup, and they test for drugs and whatnot. So you stand in line and you sit there and you wait and you go get your little cup, and you have to fill out all your information to put on the cup and everything, and then you stand in another line where they have given someone the task of basically staring at somebody's dick for all day. Yeah, you have to have verifiers. They assign people. Usually, it's not the usually it's some of the newer guys on the base, or whoever the sergeant major feels like assigning the duty, and he has to watch each. And usually, okay, there's two or three of them, two or three males for the males and two or three females for the females, and you have to watch the urine exit the penis. You have to see the penis, and you have to watch the urine exit the penis. That's what your job is, if you're a verifier. So this day, it was the guy that was the guy that was in charge or instructed to do that was this private first class. He probably hadn't even been in the Marine Corps a year, and we're all standing in line and we're laughing and joking or whatever. And I don't know about some of you guys or how often y'all have had to take piss tests or anything like that, but the joke was always that people would be gun shy. That nobody could pee when just instructed to pee. And they don't give you a lot of warning. I mean, yeah, sometimes you're standing in line for hours and you can drink water or something in, but they don't tell you 2 or 3 days before, so or 2 or 3 hours before. So usually, just so happens you'll go to the bathroom or something, and then all of a sudden you have to take this piss test, and you don't have to pee. So whatever reasons, some people are gun shy, some people just don't pee in front of other people, or especially when another man is staring at their junk. And we're laughing and joking, and all of a sudden, the sergeant in my group is like, I wasn't a sergeant yet at this time. This is right before I got promoted to sergeant, I believe. And the sergeant in our group, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's sitting there. He's like, "Man, I don't have to go." He goes, "I always had this problem, man. I never have to go." And we're laughing and joking over, and we're drinking water and you just laughing, cutting up. And he's sitting there, he's steady. It's really bugging him. He's like, "Man, I don't have to go. Man, I just don't know what I'm gonna do." So it gets to our turn, and the rest of us, we go or whatever, and we go back and we tell our gunnery sergeant, we're like, "Gunnery sergeant, not the mean one from last time. It was a different one. You're like, sergeant is over there and he doesn't have to go yet. He can't go. He's gun shy." And he's like, "Well, you're joking, right?" He's like, No, he's well, go back over there and tell him, we got stuff to do." So we go back over there, and the sergeant's just sitting there. He's like, "Man, I can't go." And all these people are passing him up in line, and now we're making fun of him. Like, the gunner sergeant told us to go over there to get him, to get this stuff. All we did was add more pressure to him, and you know, he just couldn't piss. That was the whole thing. It's like he couldn't piss. That all he had to do was fill up like a little bit of a cup. So he'd go in there and he'd try, and he'd come back with like such ridiculous, like little bit amount of piss, and we're just laughing at him. Oh, and we can't stop making fun of him, whatever. And so this private first class, you know, is probably stared at his junk for 30 minutes straight at this point. You know, just all right, he'll bring him back or whatever, and he'll be standing out in the lobby or whatever, and then he'll say, okay, I can go now, and he'll bring the private first class in there, and then he gets gun shy again, and he can't go again. So then he'll come back out or whatever, and we're just dying laughing. Like, I'm not going back without you, man. And he's like, just go tell Gunner. I was like, no, I am not going back without you, because he's going to skin me alive. And this was our nice gunnery sergeant. He still would have skinned me alive. So to keep in mind, there's this private first class that's staring at people's junk all day that he's almost done. You know, this is getting around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's generally when everything starts to shut down. You know, they pretty much have everything done by then. And this private first class has this sergeant that can't piss, and he's tired of staring at his junk, all right? So, of course, he can't say anything. He's a private first class. He's been in the Marine Corps a year at the most. And, you know, the only thing he can do is follow orders. And if they tell him to go stare at somebody's junk, then he has to stare at somebody's junk. And imagine how shitty of a job that is, though, really. Which, and no pun intended, because of the way the story ends. The sergeant's like, all right, you know, I'm going to go try again or whatever. And then he comes back and he's like, I can't go. I got an idea. And he's going, and he goes, we have to talk about it, though. So he goes back and he talks to like the staff NCOs, and like there's like 8 people in here, and he's like bringing us together, and he's like, look, you know, for whatever reason I can't shit, you know, I mean I can't piss, but can I shit? Because when I shit, I piss. And at this point we're dying because we don't think he's serious. The staff NCOs that have been there ready to go home don't think he's serious, and he's like, the sergeant's looking at us like, you know, can I? You know, what is it? And of course, it's not up to us. It's up to the staff NCOs. So they're glaring at us to stop laughing because they're not humored at all. I am just dying, I'm trying not to die. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life. And it's so disgusting, but he's seriously looking at, and then you look at that private first class with that look that he's been staring at people's penises all day. And now this sergeant is asking him to shit, to stare and watch him shit, like sit in a stall, sit on a toilet and watch him shit. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up because I had forgotten how funny this was. And they made him do it. Like, can you guys imagine if they made you do that? It was one of those things where, like, well, I'm sure the private first class doesn't have any objections to that. And you look, and of course the private first class isn't going to say, well, no, I'm not going to do it. Because, I mean, he knows what's in store if he does refuse. So, so the private first class is like, you know, keeping his mouth shut, doing exactly what he's told. And they go in there, and he shits. And while he shits, he pisses. And he finally fills that cup up. And we come back, and this private first class has got to look like, you got to be shitting me. But literally, like the sergeant literally just shit. And he had to sit there in the stall and wait for him to finish. And that right there was one of the funniest things. I mean, of all the random stories and the random things that happen to you while in the Marine Corps, it's those stories like that I just can't forget. Like, it's not that. You know, I have trouble remembering. Those are stories that I'll never forget. The sergeant that couldn't piss, that got so gun shy during a piss test that he had to sit on the toilet and make some 19 or 20-year-old kid basically sit in there with him and watch him. He had to watch him. Like, he had to, you know, look in between his legs and make sure the urine was coming out of his dick and it wasn't a fake dick. I guess I should have included that at the beginning. The reason, like, you had to see it is because they didn't want, you know, any tubes or prosthetic penises or anything like that, and people getting out of drug tests then. So that's about it, guys. That's the story. That's the vulgar story. I've got some really gross and disgusting stories like that, but I really don't know how well this is going to go over. I think it's absolutely disgusting. But who knows? You know, maybe you guys will think it's think it's as funny as I do. That's all I've got for now. It's Wednesday, August 10th. If you're watching this on my channel, make sure you tune in tonight, this afternoon, for Sergeant Merrill and I's live stream of Pardon the Dashboard, not Pardon the Interruption, PTY. And if you're watching this on COD Ops and you happen to make it over my channel, then I'm certainly glad to have you. Any Wednesday we do the live stream, so if you miss this Wednesday, just hit us up next week. And other than that, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Be sure to leave a rating, and hopefully it's a like rating. And if this is on COD Ops 247, hopefully you guys will let me post on here again. I don't know, maybe you guys will run me off with stories like this, so we'll see. But other than that, that's all I've got, guys. You all have a great evening, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.